以前攞嚟做咩？得啦，好似。
因為朋友玩下播下片咁樣咯。標題寫咩啊？鳩 up channel 咯。咁打平優啊！死啦！真係呢個問題。
啊！
假酒海啊！喂，不過咧，我已經有進步啦。以前我飲一罐係會即刻輪低，自從我上咗呢個調酒課程之後咧，我其他唔錯啊，真係冇錯。
得個咯，開始咗咯，好似。
開住啦，我又鳩噏咯。
又鳩噏咯，又。
喂，屌係咪起撚碼都整翻啲圖片俾啲人睇撚下？
咪整啲圖片俾佢睇咯，你想俾佢睇啲咩圖片？開個無痕先啦。
做咩要開無痕咧？
你直接播個 Google 咪得咯。無痕都有呢啲嘢嘅。
即係你話邊啲啊？
呢啲啊，你俾唔俾啊 ？OK 啊，俾人哋睇啊？
唔使，你書籤頁嗰度有得教翻啫嘛。書籤refresh 一次啊 ，refresh 一次。
要 refresh 嘅咩？
點解仲有嘅？
咩渣唉，我諗到個更好嘅方法。
對老母叻仔喎！幾廿年冇用嗰啲舊嘢。攰啦，累，
攰。喂，開佢先。
無理嘛無理，壓打我壓打。
你真係醉啊你！你啊幾醒目？
叻仔
得啦，我咪有啲嘢睇下咯。
我俾啲人睇啊！
咁你想睇啲乜嘢？
有咩無限 loop 嗰啲啊？咩 one hour 嗰啲？咪嗰啲風景係咩啊？風景應該係咩
？Walking 咯咪打。唉，妖。好嘅，就播呢個。
離不立 Light 含有豐富
屌老母喺度有廣告。
健康小甜，輕盈滿載。
好勁！聽落呢個技術
有兩則廣告屌老母，好似有 intro 㗎。
係啊。
你 S 都可以裝一個。笑死我！
咁即係點啊？有冇直播啲有乜嘢？
直播嘅直播啊！有直播緊人哋嘅直播，直播緊人哋條片咯。
我覺得全直播。喂，睇你可唔可以上去 YouTube 睇下有冇呢條片？你打 Battle 啊，要喺嗰度揾到。
我直接 search 翻個標題揾到你。
我哋仲要睇你咁嘅人喺度跳舞啊！我唔係個咁嘅人，到底可唔可以講啊？我哋仲要睇你咁嘅人喺度跳舞啊！O K 嘅，應該唔會有啲咩黃標嘅。睇呢位偉大嘅先生喺度跳舞，
你咁樣冇得賺錢，黃標咁冇關係。
如果賺錢㗎，屌佢老母！喂，可唔可以講粗口啊？直播應
該講粗口咪會黃標咯。即係啲廣告商會唔開心喎，不過根本冇人睇，你要改翻個中文標題先至有人睇嘅。
改啊！啊！呢啲係你嚟做啊，大佬。
OK。
以我而家嘅能力，我已經唔係好處理到。我 Q
轉翻繁體嘛。
哦，你可以撳 Control F。
冇用喎，呢啲咁嘅垃圾輸入法。
唉，我覺得輸入法我都覺得好大學問。其實咧，我一直好中意人哋嗰啲即係開源嘅輸入法，嗰啲係會即係
嗰啲咩蝦米嗰啲啊？
即係佢嗱，好似我呢啲咧，其實係聯網嘅，即係我打啲咩字咧，邏輯上啊，一間公司雖然係唔俾個人知道，但係佢係有機會知道呢一切。
係。
咁如果有啲咁嘅開源輸入法嘅話咧，咁就
有冇聽過呢個啊？
冇啊，唔知咩。
無蝦米輸入法啊？
我哋改個標題啫。
改標題。呢度。
唔係喺 YouTube 改啊。
喺呢度。喺呢度改。
喺直播 channel 冇改啊。
俾少時間我，你個滑雪嗰個靈敏度咁難。講咩好咧？
聽日仲要翻工，但係飲醉晒酒嘅人。
係啊。
二啊！
唉，你個鍵盤嗰個配置真係好反智。
喂，千幾萬啫啊！唔好搞。No！
好反智啊，大佬！
喂，我寫我哋兩個主持人個名落去。你想叫咩嗱？我叫自己做 Professor Yeung 啦，我覺得幾好。主持人。我哋整個我哋 DJ channel 咁樣咧。
笑死我！
喂，唔好去遊戲區，唔好去遊戲區。我哋喺呢個係錯。
呢個遊戲區叫乜嘢啊？清談節目。
新聞與政治咯。咁唔通點啊？非牟利機構與社運活動啊？我點解有警告啊？
唔係嗰個係串流嗰個問題嘅，即係話你部電腦太廢翻。
我屌你老母啊！教育啦 ，education。
人物咪得咯，係咪啊？
喂，縮圖咧，縮圖都可以教一幅㗎。
要揀喎，你啲圖得唔得㗎？睇唔睇得㗎？
未必得。
喂
有啲咩得啲嘅嘢？
得喎，你嗰啲圖。
呢一幅咯，呢一幅。
呢幅？
下邊嗰屌你老母下邊呢幅。
邊個畫㗎呢幅？
我最中意嘅女人畫。
咁咪全世界都知道。
攞係，佢攞係洗手嚟。我小學同學真係好中意佢。
件嘢唔好諗，揾翻佢。
我已經嘗試過揾咗好幾招，後尾幫我 hack back 呢啲埋。
真係㗎？認真㗎？咁堅？你點樣揾佢啊？
戇鳩，佢冇話俾我聽我嘅電話號碼喺度，我連佢電話號碼唔知。叫我齋靠佢嘅姓名拼音咧，幾下揾到佢 IG。戇鳩。
人哋根本唔記得你。
我都覺得係。喂，呢啲啦，呢啲 OK 啊。
你根本就唔記得，你仲揾翻佢。唔好揾啦！即係你有冇睇到佢樣依家變成點啊？
大約知道。
咁我好肯定咧，如果你依家唔去睇咧，但係咧你過翻幾十年去咧，去睇咧，你會發現自己最美好嗰段回憶已經破壞咗。
破壞啊，冇所謂。你睇楊之路都唔係屬於我，戇鳩。
呢啲 film 嚟喎，呢啲。
求撚其播啲嘢俾我哋觀眾睇下。
冇喎，唔需要睇，聽求樂啫嘛。得啦，就呢啲。
喂，點解有啲咁嘅嘢？
咩啊？
見唔到佢有啲線咩？
呢啲係啲 analyse 分析，可能呢個 edge 嘅問題。
唔知乜撚嘢。
真係有。得啦。
喂，真。
冇人睇啊，放心啦。講啲政治嘢。
唔可以講政治啊，但係我唔想翻工。
喂，揾唔翻啊？
揾唔翻咩啊？
冇咗啲忽咯。
咩忽啊？
啲銀紙啊！
我喺地下執。實嗰陣時咧，有時候搣爛咗，你知唔知地下冇人執？得我一個人執咗，我仲要砌翻佢出嚟。撚噴。
仲有黑畫面咗喎，呢啲嘢。
屌！屌！ 觀眾睇會鬧我哋啦，仲有咩黑馬俾落去？
黑咯，黑咪黑咯。
喂，開個手機嚟睇下，唔知道。
仲幫自己刷觀眾數，真黐線。
喂，佢計 I P 定係計咩？
我開流動網絡咪唔係計 I P 咯。
我都可以查一兩個，我都可以攞手機嚟睇下。
哇！
喂，呢個係檸檬味定係乜撚嘢？
檸檬味。
咁仲啱，我有冇係西柚嚟？
係啩？
我屌老母得啦，隻味完冇分別。咁仲啱，我有冇係西柚嚟？一撚樣。
你咪刷咯，我擺咗刷觀眾數咯。笑
我
話！
開翻手。
你仲要攞出去，仲要出去落機喎。
世上無難事，只怕垃圾人。
喂，點解你借呢啲工作哲學圖鑑睇嘅？
好睇啊！
你中學㗎？
咩中學？唔係啊，
公共圖書館嘅。好睇咩？呢啲日本啲工具書，呢啲咁嘅工具書，我好中意佢哋啲排版同埋啲公仔設計。
設計真係好撚靚啊！佢嗰啲真係
通常咧呢啲咁俾心機設計公仔啲就係垃圾書。
係啊，佢裏面冇乜知識咯，但係咁佢啲圖片真係接班。
但係日本人好中意買呢啲書，工具書。
喂，即係我咁講咁，
我都買咗幾本睇。
佢即係佢都比較叫有心咧去整一本書喎。即係佢唔同就話，喂我總之整本垃圾書俾你咁樣，你睇下好似垃圾咁樣。聽下有咩議題想發表啊？俄羅斯局勢，我哋可以正常咁樣討論俄羅斯局勢。
冇俄羅斯有咩局勢啊？俄羅斯咪一片唱好咯，唔係咩？
我唔中意喎。
我唔中意可以點樣唔中意佢都係都會咁喎。個宇宙係唔會因為你中唔中意佢而改變㗎。唉，醉啊我！
啊！屌老母啊！有乜揼？
醉咗。我覺得睇人散步都係白痴喎，但我自己想派啲嘢喎。
我覺得唔白痴，我有哲學理念啊！
有乜哲學理念啊？你睇住佢散步，聽住佢鳩噏嘅話，其實就係我哋一邊喺度鳩一邊散步嘅。冇錯，我哋而家喺東京。
Exactly， 雲散步呢啲嘢，雲端散步。
我哋而家係咪迎合咩叫咩？我哋迎合緊呢個香港要成為國際科技咩啊？科技中心。
我記得咧係咪可以同時直播跟住同時錄製嘅？
係啊，
錄製可以。
你撳啊！你撳著個錄製佢。
使唔使教啲咩？
唔使啊，
即係唔使。
如果你唔想你硬碟夾爆炸，你就要搞咯。但係你撳咗先，撳啊，佢就會自己錄噶啦。
即係咧，
你仲想截錄精華？
黐撚接邊撚檔精華啊嘛！
咩啊？其實佢喺 YouTube 會有留檔，咪喺 YouTube 度 cut 咪得咯。
嚇！YouTube 有留檔嘅咩？直播？
係啊。
咁先進。
你真係
落後於形勢。
你真係不愧係喺圖書館翻工嘅人。
比較古板啲喎。
圖書館同圖書館一模一樣，好似落後咗3、4個世紀咁樣。
喂，咁我咁講，圖書館嘅理念本身就應該係落後㗎啦。
咪圖書館本身嘅理念就係落後，你講啲乜？你講啲乜鳩啊？
咁嗱，你覺得一個好嘅圖書館咧，係我哋應該有好多嘅 technology 俾你玩啊，定係一個好舊式，即係總之你入到嚟你係知呢間有圖書館有睇書嘅嘢。
一間好嘅圖書館，梗係要用啲 cutting edge 嘅科技去營運㗎啦。即係唔一定係要提供啲科技俾你，但係起碼佢哋嘅管理方法係要先進啦。
我係一個好古板嘅，我覺得
即係當你嘅客群，你嘅會入嚟借書嘅學生已經個個攞住部手機，你唔提供一個網上嘅圖書，即係佢叫網上即係電子書租借服務，你係咪覺得有啲白痴啫？
學校咧有電子書租借服務㗎，你知唔知嗰啲同學可以癲撚到點樣樣啊？即係有啲人夠膽死咧，借一本書咧，跟住揭開5秒，咁我就會有佢嘅記錄，我喺後台度咧睇到佢睇咗5秒呢本書，跟住佢話俾我聽，閱讀報告做完㗎，阿 Sir。即係我唔知佢當我係智障啦定係點啊？
當佢阿 Sir 嘅智障咯。啲阿 Sir 會唔會問佢攞翻？
喂，你記唔記得咧？我哋當年中學嗰陣時咧，咪有個咩 E-class 嘅咩 English 嗰個嘅？ 嗰陣時咧，唔知佢要求你睇段片咧，就好似睇話
最少唔知幾多，
要30秒噶嘛，係咪啊？啊唔係，哦唔係，佢你睇任何嘢都得嘅。
係。
即係咧，佢就會即係喺後台度咧，嗰陣時我哋嗰個肥婆咧，就會喺後邊個睇翻我哋睇咗幾多秒嘅，跟住就會當場批評咧，即係3位同學，喂，點解你老母你睇咗10秒咁樣？你話俾我做完唔得喎？因為選擇題咧可以鳩噏嘅，即係你反正都係鳩填咧，咁啊求其錯撚晒，即係咁樣係叫完成。跟住咧咪會俾個副職點我哋嘅？
未聽過。
吓？點會啊？肥雞喎嗰陣時。
我未俾肥雞教過。
我屌佢老母啊！佢會俾佢唔知咧會話喺度疏忽完成功課咧，佢俾個副職點我哋。我唔記得我最後尾咧就係咁嘅，上台喺度睇小説，佢又收鳩咗。跟住我又拎過第2本出嚟，佢又再收多一次。跟住我拎到第3本嗰時，佢忍唔住啊！佢寫咗2個副職點，咩上堂閱讀小説，屢勸不改咁樣。
笑話，真係笑話嚟喎！我真係未俾佢教過。
屌你嗰陣時係俾阿邊個教嘅啫嘛？
邊個啊？唔知，我好記得。
咩啊？
呢個姓蘇嘅。
係咪 Mr. Ho 啊？
未俾佢教過。你講中4至中6啊？中4、中6都冇啲乜 English 要做，中1至中3嘅嗰啲。你講網上英文練習嗰啲係中1至中3啊？我第1年係 Miss 5啊嘛，第2年係 Miss So 啊嘛，跟住
都唔知 Miss So 係邊
教德文嗰個。
好似有人仲係咪某個老婆嚟？
係啊，邊個教 show 費嗰個人個老婆？
你
教足球啊嘛，走咗去第二度。跟住仲有一個係邊個？個樣我講得出，但唔係好講得出佢成乜嘢，是但啦。
是但啦，冇人在乎。唉，業都畢咗啦，唔在乎啲咩？
你睇下棟樓幾高？
喂，老實喺日本咧，其實我覺得佢啲街道設計好撚過香港。
係咩？我覺得香港嘅交通
嗱，交通建設算係咁。
交通道路嗰個呢個道路規劃會好啲。
即係都算係順暢嘅，咁但係即係日本咧喺我睇嚟咧，好多值得可取嘅地方，譬如話人哋啲招牌廣告咧，真係好撚靚。即係
我覺得香港嗰啲都 OK 嘅咯。
佢嗰啲 cyberpunk 嘅我係比較中意，同埋好撚中意咧就係佢嗰啲拉麵。
嚇！cyberpunk 人哋講 cyberpunk 講香港，你講 cyberpunk 講日本咁搞笑嘅？香港先係香港油麻地佐敦嗰啲位置啊，嗰啲乜
係咁，但係佢其實就係高樓林立，跟住加啲咁嘅霓光燈噶嘛，即係
嚇就係咁噶啦。好啦，我哋而家嚟到呢度邊度啊？呢度係涉谷啊，好似係咪啊？
好啦，後悔咧，當年去日本嗰陣時咧，冇喺嗰間咩唐吉訶德嗰度買多啲。
唐吉訶德點解啊？
嗰間咩連鎖藥店咧？喂，你記唔記得我哋去九州玩嗰陣時咧？其實第一日咧買啲嘢最撚平，跟住後尾越去越貴，我撚鳩，即係諗翻轉頭咧，嗱我又唔可以接受呢啲反智行為喎。即係譬如話，如果我去到第一間鋪頭係最撚貴嘅，我越行越平嘅話，咁我就會好開心。但係如果我第一間鋪頭係最撚平咧，我越行越貴嘅話，咁我就會唔係好開心。跟住我唔係好想買，咁啊唔係
佢想買好多藥翻嚟。
唔係啊，而係佢啲嘢咧又抵玩又好玩，即係類似嗰啲咩按摩貼咁樣咧，我覺得都 fairly good， 38蚊一大堆。哇，係喎，嗰陣時好撚彩咧，係嗰啲按摩貼我仲記得。我嗰陣時去到咧，咪感冒嘅。係啊。啲按摩貼的確有一定嘅緩效。
係咯，你咁搞笑去到即感冒。
我懷疑係咪嗰陣時？但係我哋嗰個冇食錯啲乜嘢啊？
我都冇事。
係咯，你又冇事，我哋一齊食嘅啲嘢。
可能有啲人去旅行係會
水土不服咁樣咯。
水土不服。你仲病好耐好似，又唔走得，又唔得，乜都唔得，又唔嫖得。
其實都係玩得嘅，咁只不過就即係食啲生冷嘢又肚餓咯。我嗰陣時係頂住肚餓嘅風險嚟，我食些生冷嘢。係咯，好撚勁。係又唔嫖得喎。見到紅燈區，喂，你記唔記得我哋去嗰陣時咧？我有一個唔知乜鳩
揮手啊嘛。
啊，logo index 咁樣啊，好印象呢個手。
跟住你仲問翻我佢講乜嘢？
講咩？佢話要唔要女人啊？
あの子どうですか？
酒吧妹，假妹又好過港妹，
係咩？咁台妹咧？
熱節崩。咁我印象之中咧係咁嘅。咁啊，日本女仔，跟住咧就到台灣女仔，跟住到大陸妹。我啊心目中咧港女係非常之參差，簡直係完全不可以接受。佢哋又傲慢，又呢個馬撚煩，不好不好。第時娶咧，我都係娶個台妹。
點解唔娶假妹啊？
假妹都得啊，未必有乜能力咯。
有乜能力？實有啊！
好中意以前嗰啲大和虎子嗰啲。
好大和虎子㗎啦！依家大和虎子咩超和都已經超和年代大和虎子，平成已經冇啦！依家仲要係令和大佬大和虎子，唔做 PTG app 已經好㗎啦！一同你講你老婆拍過 AV 㗎，
屌佢老母啊！真係
做個陪酒都已經係好濕碎㗎啦，你知唔知啊？咩？你接唔接受到你條女係做個女僕咖啡啊？
唔得，
係咯，
不好，
已經冇啊！你又要揾個樣貌差唔多，咁佢冇做過女僕咖啡，好奇怪，女僕咖啡咁好揾。
我又唔係好注重樣貌嘅，即係嗱，你過得去就得，我又唔係話特別要求喂，所有人都要話聲或者望撚住你咁樣。即係咧，我覺得咧，好依賴別人對我嘅依賴。即係我覺得咧，條女月費咧，要好似花樽咁樣月費咧，我係覺得 fairly good 啊咁樣。咁啊可以指示我嘅呢個博學多聞同埋呢個學富五車啊。
但係通常咧太廢，你會厭倦嘅咧，真係太廢。
有笑鳩佢太廢。
唔係笑鳩佢，真係會廢到咧，你唔想理佢。真係唔係講笑喎！即係當你喺度發表嗰啲納粹言論嘅時候，佢仲喺度同你。
喂，直播幫佢發表納粹言論。
當你喺發表一個左派言論嘅時候，佢仲喺度問你左派係乜嘢？你係咪真係想一巴升落去度啊？唔係啊先，唉！
知唔知一間都要幾多啊？喂，咁揾我讀到嗰啲初中程度咪得咯，都得。
初中程度問佢連東條英機都唔識，你仲可以講啲乜嘢啫？
循善誘話咩？
我覺得東條英機已經入門級別，跟住你講到3半56嗰啲唔使講，我哋而家冇嘢講啦已經。
咁有啲女仔係未必，即係嗱，我話俾你，大多數女仔就都係冇興趣嘅。
點解冇興趣啊？
即係喺我嘅角度咧，如果你可以話俾我聽咧，3半56係一個日本人嘅話，我都已經收貨啦。即係
佢同你3半56
係咪美國佬嚟嘅咧？
咩美國佬啊？同你講3半56，點解個名有數字咁搞笑嘅？
我喺圖書館咧出咗條題目，咁啊考啲同學仔喎，咁啊擺喺個還書架嗰邊嘅，咁啊同佢講咧，如果你答到條題目嘅話咧，就可以獲得一份免費嘅芒果布丁，我會請你食嘅。條題目好簡單嘅，你有睇過《基督山伯爵》嘅話咧，咁就會明白呢個愛德蒙唐泰斯伯爵咧喺最後信裏面交俾世人嘅勸喻，即係人類嘅一切智慧結晶咧，就係等待同埋希望。就係呢兩個字嘅啫，冇人答得上喎。咁甚至咧，我已經將本書擺撚咗喺隔離啦，幫我陰咗佢哋一鑊，我淨係擺一本上冊喺嗰度嘅啫。個個真係揭本上冊，跟住冇人揾到嗰句嘢。跟住我心諗，屌你老母，我寫埋喺結尾啊，你揾本下冊出嚟啊嘛。不如你咁啦，簡單啲啊，下次你直接，我仲要問佢中國嘅首都喺邊度？你直接問佢你冇擺本書啊？可能你話月黑高飛啊，月黑高飛入邊嘅呢個救贖之道喺邊度咁樣會用？我諗真係未必有人答你出嚟。有人答你喺本聖經入邊話就在其中啊，已經都得啦。我即刻掃我私人寫一本嗰部店嘅。你咁樣問，我覺得你咁樣問可能有啲機會喎。嚇！我曾經有諗過咧，出一本東野圭吾嗰啲書。喂，唔係喎，其實你話月黑風高係有原作噶嘛？你哋學校有冇啊？我哋刺激1999冇啊冇啊冇。唔係啊，佢英文名係叫咩？消失克的救贖啊，佢本書係叫。係啊，史提芬張正啊嘛。你直接咁樣，你條問題就係咩？消失克的救贖入邊嘅
救贖之道喺邊度？跟住你隔離擺本聖經喺度嘛？睇下有冇人答到啊？入邊擺本聖經，你哋學校係咪基督教學校嚟㗎？唔係㗎。
嗱，
冇宗教㗎嘛？係咪啊？
邏輯上咧係冇宗教嘅，但係個創始人咧係一個佛教徒，所以就會有好多佛教嘅書籍喺裏邊。
咁有冇聖經㗎？
有。
咁你得啦，出呢條問題，然之後抌本聖經喺隔離咪得咯。
係有。
你話救贖之道喺邊？如果有人噏得出係邊一章邊一節嘅話，咁仲
你記唔記得我哋中學咧圖書館係應該冇佛教書籍，好似得基督教書籍。
好似係。
呢間學校相對係開明啲咯，即係佢乜撚嘢都有咯。其實好多關於咁啊，同埋佢佛教都唔係即係嗱，佢又唔係佛教學校資助嘅，只不過佢嘅創辦人嗰陣時中意佛教咧，所以啲人就即係
成全。
係啦，即係佢個校長嗰啲又係會比較偏向佛學咁樣。
會唔會？你會唔會咁樣簡單啲啊？就在其中有一沓到本聖經，應該我驚破產。
佢話説咧，我最近有本中文嘅文學書籍，你知唔知？屌，其實係得我睇過，冇人借喎，平咗喺嗰個新購書架嗰度咧，冇人有興趣，得我睇過。跟住難得咧有3本臥虎藏龍咧，有個阿 Sir 入嚟，哇！你哋圖書館咁犀利嘅《臥虎藏龍》呢本書，佢話係啊，好高深，真係犀利。
真係冇人借過。即係咪整張紙仔喺度？呢本邊個借？邊個就可以將自己嘅名留喺我哋學校歷史入邊？你咁樣寫喎，可能啲人就會借。
我咁講咧，通常咧，我咁講，即係啲人咧個文學水平未去到嗰個地方，即係佢唔似得你同我咧，即係大家知識量比較豐富啲咧，咁你明白啲啊噏乜鳩。通常咧，其實借最多係漫畫，即係我冇所謂咁。
咁你可以即係有啲辦法吸引下人哋借嘅。
有咪即係舉擺喺書展咁。而家咧有個生涯規劃展，睇得最多嘅咧都係其實好撚戇鳩，即係。喺圖書館裏邊，唯一睇得最多書嘅就係嗰個圖書管理員，其他啲人其實冇乜興趣。
咁你咪好似我咁講咯，你咪貼啲紙喺嗰度，就話依家借呢批書就可以喺我哋學校歷史入邊留低自己嘅名咁樣，然之後你咪私人又喺下邊整句咯，話如果我噏得出入邊某啲情節俾我聽，我有車食布甸咁樣咯。
其實咧，我哋係有嘅，我哋有龍虎榜咧，就話借咗書最多書嗰條友咧，會喺出面壁報擺有佢名。有啲中一嘅同學咧，
係咁喺度刷數據。係
啊，佢嗱我肯定佢冇撚睇過本書，即係嗱老老實實，你借一本《沉默的羔羊》翻去，你話俾我聽，你一日之內睇晒，我即係可能得，但係個邏輯唔係好啱咯，即係你成日咩都冇嘢做咧，我睇晒成本嘢，不過我都 OK，屌你翻嚟擺埋一刷數據，不過冇乜所謂嘅，你中意刷。
我都話咪即係有冇分㗎？有冇分頂啊？有冇啲布甸分定㗎？
其實我可以買少少禮物送俾佢，有啲原子筆嗰啲。不過我冇乜所謂嘅，即係我嘥幾蚊雞買個布甸出嚟，我都 OK。係咯。
喂，翻去試下。
大佬啊！即係基督山伯爵啊 ，Monte Cristo 大眾化嘅名著，即係呢啲點講好咧？起碼嗱，你冇睇過成本書，我怪你啊！你都聽過啲出名嘅嘢，冇人睇過，答都答唔到啊，大佬！你但凡有個 FGO 啊，你都知道愛德蒙唐泰斯係一個伯爵，即係下次咧我咁樣問，愛德蒙唐泰斯嘅呢個職稱係咩？
問呢啲嘢冇用㗎，大師就係唔中意你問呢啲嘢。大師佢要求，佢嗰陣時要求就係問嗰啲咩，可能就係想問，可能。你整翻條真係類似月黑風高嘅救贖喺邊度咁樣，但係即係呢啲就可能係我想要嘅嘢。
我諗過咧係咁嘅，你有冇睇過《嫌疑犯 X 的獻身》啊？
我有睇過，好似有睇過。
我曾經想問佢咧，即係湯川教授嘅對手係邊個？咪石神咯。
我都唔記得咯，啲人物已經唔記得，個故事大概。
咁或者就係問咧呢個啊？即係佢簡單啲啦，石神嘅職業係咩啊？
真係唔知，噏唔到。
中學數學老師，
真係噏唔到。
可能真係難啲。
太舊。
即係有啲
即係你問，可能你問佢，即係呢啲叫做硬知識啊。
你問佢白夜行裏邊，兇手係咪一個學生咁樣啊？
呢啲都唔係一個，即係叫做唔係一個太好嘅問題。
咩好嘅問題？
通常啲好嘅問題都 open up 噶嘛。
佛學之中，佛祖嘅意願意係啲乜嘢？好有禪意啊！最後嚟校長喺度回答我呢個問題，或者校教，啲校董識答。
你覺得福爾摩斯最大嘅敵人係邊個？Open up。
O K 嘅，
基本上佢點答？佢答其他人又得，你話答 Moriarty 又得，即係 open up， 即係成理即可。
都得，即係你開課都話，我覺得都 O K 嘅，即係你同我鳩噏多幾句，我都俾你㗎啦。即係不過而家細路真係唔係好中意。
如果你係《沉默的羔羊》入邊嘅女檢察官，
鬼知啊！我真係唔知啊！你呢個考嘢，我知佢嘅主角叫伯利漢，但係我真係唔知佢嘅女檢察官叫乜。
伯利漢其實唔係主角，伯利漢其實係一個伯利漢係一個專家。佢喺嗰套作品入邊，佢係個專家，但係佢係一個最出名嘅角色。個主角係一個女檢察，係一個女律師定女檢察官嚟嘅。佢同伯利漢嘅。即係佢基本上就喺伯利漢上面揾到嗰個兇手嘅線索，因為伯利漢係一個好出色嘅心理學家定唔知乜嘢精神學家，但係佢係有見過呢個兇手嘅。
講起呢樣嘢，我細個諗過做一個心理學家，即係你諗下，我又唔使開藥，跟住坐喺度齋陪喺度鳩噏，跟住仲要俾唔知一嚿幾水一個鐘我。
你有冇睇最近嗰個邊個嗰單審判啊？嗰個 trial 美國嗰個 Johnny Depp 嗰個，入邊請咗幾個心理學家、精神科專家啊嘛，喺度鳩噏去亂噏啲證據。
其實又唔係嘅，即係嗱，有陣時咧，我話咁就同你講，你話俾醫生聽你嘅病徵咧，其實醫生係自己可以相信你嘅啫，因為我冇辦法感受到你嘅痛症。
唔係啊，佢入邊有個 session 係叫專家證，即係專家嘅意見啊，唔係 evidence， 即係唔係真係有診斷嘅 Johnny Depp。冇做過 diagnostic 㗎，
即係佢只會話嘅，
純粹係話睇過啲證據咁，我覺得點，跟住入邊個專家好搞笑。等下先，呢個 channel 超勁喎呢排，我係專做呢啲叫做。呢個睇咯，呢個要開啲聲睇喎，是但都播埋俾你。
我玩入嚟啊！
大家好，我是索陀 and welcome to part 1 of 奇怪 Doctor and the multiverse of Chill Deal. Because this guy is so goddamn arrogant, just listening to his testimony, I nearly threw my computer across the room. So, why don't you grab yourself a drink, smash that like button, let's get straight into it. So today's episode is brought to you by the word squirrely, which means to be mildly insane. And usually someone who's squirrely is quite shifty and jumps around back and forth and is very animated in an unnecessary way, just like a squirrel. So once again, Amber Heard's team have brought in a psychiatrist to testify to Johnny Depp's mental state. And I'm telling you, this guy is out of his mind. From the beginning, it starts off bad. Now this first clip is Johnny Depp's lawyer moving to impeach him as a witness because of his lack of expertise in a certain area.
Your Honor, I move to qualify Dr. Spiegel as an expert in the field of psychiatry and behavioral sciences with specific emphasis on drug and alcohol abuse, intimate partner violence, and the effect of these as they pertain to the issues in this case.
All right, any objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
You wish to voir dire?
I do.
Okay.
You've never conducted any empirical research on individuals who experienced intimate partner violence, have you, sir?
If your definition is trials, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Like pharmaceutical trials, or what are you saying? Is that what you're saying? Because I've done review articles on patients who suffered from trauma. So the answer is, I haven't done any studies like where you give them medication for treatment or try one treatment versus another. I've reviewed the body of literature on intimate partner violence to get 2 review articles, yes.
So you've read about it, is what you just testified to.
I would have to disagree with you on that, sir. Reading about it and writing a review article are completely 2 different things, sir.
All right. You haven't authored any articles specifically on IPV. have
必
you?
須不同意。
As a subset of trauma, the answer is yes. In terms of in the name of the title of the article, the answer is no.
喂，幾犀利喎！呢條友喺我邏輯裏邊咧，佢真係可以同啲老師
I've never written any books on IPV, although temporomandibular disease, okay, in terms of psychiatric issues, does have a higher frequency in those patients who have suffered from trauma, including
即係佢啲類似
intimate
官
partner
腔啲
violence.
廢話。
You've never.
And I am part of that book.
Okay. Temporal mandibular disease deals with problems with the jaw.
Is that a question, sir?
What is temporal mandibular?
Temporomandibular disease is a problem with oral issues, yeah, but there are many patients who complain of oral issues where the oral surgeon cannot find a reason for it, and the reason why they can't is because people who have suffered from trauma and intimate partner violence are prone to increased sensitivity of somatic sensations, which can manifest in temporomandibular disease. Thank you, I appreciate that. Nice plug for my book too, thank you.
Didn't hear it, but there we go. So, you haven't written any chapters of any books specifically about IPV.
Again, I think I've gone over that. I've written 2 articles on that, and I've written parts of chapters. And dissociative identity disorder, I should add, where I did write a chapter on, is completely based on trauma and intimate partner violence.
Right. I'm not asking you about trauma because you want to talk about trauma. I'm asking you about IPV specifically.
I will reiterate again, you cannot separate intimate partner violence and say that is a separate rubric aside from trauma. Trauma is overall, intimate partner violence is part of trauma, and the answer to the question is any individual who suffers from a dissociative disorder, which I am the author of a chapter of, suffers from trauma, whether it be at the hands of childhood or it be at the hands of an
點有
intimate
邏
partner.
輯喎？
但係
Right,
你唔
but
知
you've
佢講
already
即係我
testified
冇
that
review 過佢講
half your practice is trauma and a subset of
Right.
that practice is
你問你
IPV,
係
correct?
咪
Which is actually I treat the national average patients. About 20% of
佢講
patients
嘅
suffer
嘢就
from
係
it. And that's about my practice.
就係話我有做過嘅研究
You're
係
discounting the
關
fact
於
that
一個
half your
更大嘅
practice
項目
is，not
而
trauma
IPV 喺
at
入
all.
邊嘅
So，
但係
10%
但係人哋
of
問
your
係咪
practice is
specific 係
IPV.
講 IPV 佢
I don't know if the numbers add up exactly like
I'm just
that.
using yours.
咁咪充
I don't
即係如果
know.
佢直接話誒我
I don't know
做
if those
IPV
numbers
咁
add up like
地
that.
方質疑啦。
Because
即係佢有一個好籠統嘅嘢去介紹喎。即係你有冇研究過文學？你同佢講嗱，文學嘅起源咧就喺中文嗰度。咁我教中文嘢咁樣。
Again, a significant number of my patients have suffered from intimate partner violence. I see it on a daily basis, and I'm not sure exactly why I'm getting asked the same question again.
So, as you can see, Doc
尤
Brown
其
from
是
Back to the
醫生
Future
抄係
is
講
very
有
full of himself.
係陪審團判
And at this
應該
point,
可能
Depp's lawyer has
會
realized he's
揾到
bit
啲
off a little bit more than he can chew. But unfortunately, Depp's lawyer doesn't know when to quit. And he keeps pressing on, allowing the doctor more time to bore and annoy the fuck out of everyone in the courtroom until finally the judge has had enough.
And IPV doesn't appear in your CV at all.
If you say it's not in my CV, I will believe you. There's a lot of things that are not in my CV that I do.
And you're not associated with any professional literature on IPV.
I'm sorry, repeat the question, sir?
Is there any professional literature that you've contributed to relative to IPV specifically as opposed to trauma generally?
即係幾好啊！呢啲咪好自信咯，對於
The
你
answer
我答
to
到
the
我。
question again, sir, is that you
You're
cannot
going to follow
separate
that.
this artificial separation you're trying to do between trauma and intimate partner violence. It is part and parcel of trauma. We don't thread it like that.
Your Honor, plaintiff would accept this witness as an expert on general psychiatry, and with respect to the drug usage issues that Ms. Bredehoff referenced, but not with respect to IPV.
All right, over objection, he's entered as an expert as stated on the record. All right, you may continue. Thank you.
Very much, Your Honor.
即係點解佢話
I assume you have.
I have quite a bit more.
Let's go. Continue. All right.
Thread it like that.
Your Honor, plaintiff would accept this witness as an expert on general psychiatry, but and with respect to the drug usage issues that Ms. Bredehoff, but and with respect to the drug usage issues that Ms. Bredehoff referenced, but not with respect to IPV.
All right, over objection, he's entered as an expert as stated on the record.
Respect to IPV.
All right, over objection, he's entered as an expert as stated on the record.
Respect to IPV.
All right, over objection, he's entered as an expert as
即係佢初頭係抗
stated
議
on the
用呢位
record.
人
Right?
嚟
You may
做
continue.
任
Thank
何
you.
證言啊嘛，你真係即係佢咩？
I assume you have.
I have quite a bit more.
Let's go ahead and take our morning recess, ladies and gentlemen. Just do not discuss the case and don't do any outside research. We'll be back with you
I'm sorry.
in 15 minutes.
Sorry, I
We're
talked
just
too
taking a
much.
break. No, we're just taking a break.
People couldn't get out of that courtroom fast enough. Now, this next clip actually confirms our theory from a few episodes back when we went at Don Hughes regarding the ethical practices of a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And of course, Rick Sanchez is more than happy to share his knowledge of the Goldwater rule. But later on, his knowledge and his arrogance will come back to bite him in the ass.
Thank you, Dr. Spiegel. I'm going to now move to the Goldwater Rule. Can you explain the Goldwater Rule, please?
So the Goldwater Rule is when Senator Goldwater was running for presidency. But basically what's happening is clinicians, psychiatrists were making these quote-unquote armchair diagnoses from their homes or offices because they saw this person on TV, the way they acted, and were asked to comment about what they think their diagnoses are. And therefore, it was felt that that should not be done by professionals in these public settings.
Does it have any applicability here?
No, it does not.
And
for
why?
Multiple reasons. One, the basics of expert witness testimony would almost be thrown away if you are not allowed to base things on what you evaluated of an individual, what you've read about an individual. So if I'm not allowed to comment on records or charts or information that I look, then expert witness testimony can't be done. But more specifically for this case, in the Goldwater Rule, the pure version of it was the armchair diagnosis of watching someone on TV. Just, you don't make a diagnosis. More recently, I think that's even more recent, we've had examples of that. So you don't make diagnoses like that. This is not the case here, because like I said to you at the beginning, I have reviewed a lot of professionals and their evaluations and their treatment course, video deposition, picture deposition, court filings, emails. I mean, I reviewed a whole lot of things that directly describe Mr. Depp and his behavior. So I'm not commenting on a public opinion, and I have absolutely no knowledge of what's in Mr. Depp's history. If I was just doing that, it would be like watching a movie. That's not relevant here. To be fair, for an evaluation, for my own direct evaluation, again, I was offered twice that I can do an evaluation of Mr. Depp directly, and both times Mr. Depp and or his lawyers decided that that wasn't going to happen.
Okay. And in fact, the court did not require Mr. Depp to...
No, and the court did not require Mr. Depp to undergo this evaluation.
All right, so now Depp's lawyer is up for round 2.
即
And
係
I gotta
佢
admit,
意思我諗係咁嘅。嗱，你可唔可以質疑一個醫生單憑佢嘅專業判斷咧？即係嗱，好似啱啱佢講咁樣咧，如果一個醫生係好似齋靠大量嘅病人，跟住去評估，即係佢又喺 video 上面見到你啊，或者電視上面見到你啦，咁佢唔去睇你過往嘅記錄或者任何嘢嘅話咧，就判斷你可能係普通感冒啊咁樣。咁但係佢而家嘅情況就係話，佢仔細去研究過呢個人。跟住根據佢過往所有記錄咧，得出一個比較個人化嘅專業判斷。咁即係呢個可唔可以成為一個比較專家性嘅證詞咧？我覺得可以㗎。咁冇理由你話你個醫生冇研究過病人，即係齋見到你可能頭痛發燒喎，咁我覺得你係感冒啦。咁但係咁樣即係冇咁專業化咯。即係佢而家講緊就係specific 咁樣咯。
但係呢個係你講緊，如果你講緊呢個情況係。即係譬如你嘅證據係有啲醫學報告嘅，有啲係即係真係知道佢係咩病嘅。譬如你頭先用感冒做 做例子啊嘛，有啲病毒啊咁樣，有測到啲病毒有份報告咁話俾你聽，佢有呢啲嘢，咁你做一個醫生，咁你當然係可以做一個判斷，但係問題佢哋依家討論嘅範疇係精神學啊嘛。精神學可唔可以咁樣適用咧？就話美國因為有啲機構啦，精神學機構啦，即係嗰啲叫做咩？有啲叫做道德原則咁樣嘅嘢啦，就話究竟你可唔可以咁做，其實都有得拗嘅。即係頭先嗰個 rule 就係話原本嗰個有個精神學家就係坐喺部電視啫，淨係部電視，跟住睇啲政治家啲嗰啲叫咩
舉頭屏足
嚇，就話佢有啲咩問題咁得唔得？咁即係國嚟講唔得咯，但係佢呢個情況係咪即係究竟嗰個 rule 係咪仲係講緊當年有個人坐喺電視機咁樣望望呢啲得唔得？定係而係廣泛到去話？冇直接診斷過嗰個人都就已經係 fall in 呢個污就唔知道。
He kind of got his ass handed to him in the previous round by Dr. Strange. So let's see if he does better this round.
All right. So the last thing you talked about was the Goldwater rule.
Yes, sir.
Been around for almost 50 years, right?
Yeah, I'm 59. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And who has that rule? What organization maintains that rule?
The American Psychiatric Association.
An association you're a member of?
Association that I'm a member of, yes.
Yeah. Aren't you a fellow or something?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, and this is an ethical rule, right?
It is an ethical rule. And yes, it's ethical. They say rules. It's an ethical guideline. Yes, they're guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And you know that over time, the American Psychiatric Association has amended the rule so it's not just about diagnoses, but it's also about professional opinions.
Could you be more specifically say about professional opinion in regard to what?
Let me read this and see if you're familiar with it. It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual based on publicly available information without conducting an examination. That's the rule, right?
If you're reading it directly, I will believe you.
However, a diagnosis is not required for an opinion to be professional. So my question is, it's not just diagnosis that this Goldwater rule applies to, it's professional opinions.
So again, I will reiterate that would come down to essentially nullifying witness testimony, expert witness testimony, without direct evaluation. And as we know, it didn't happen. But regardless of that, the whole expert witness testimony thing would be basically rendered null and void.
Psychiatrists are ethically prohibited from evaluating individuals without permission or other authorization, such as a court order. That's the rule, right?
Again, if you're reading that, then I have to believe you're not misrepresenting it. So at the end of the day, you are essentially saying that unless someone has directly evaluated it, this whole medical system we have, this whole legal system we have is null and void.
I'm not saying
no, yes, you are, sir. No, you are.
Give me a second and I'll give you more than a second. What I'm saying and what I am reading to you is a rule by your organization that takes into account that there could be court orders that would permit the exact kind of evaluation that you say I'm eliminating.
And I think we're going in circles because I think I just said that means expert witness testimony would not be allowed, and the branch of forensic psychiatry would be especially hindered, and we know the branch of forensic psychiatry does not prohibit that. So I am a member of the APA. That doesn't necessarily mean every single thing they put in there, everybody has to uncategorically agree with, because clearly that's not the case.
So now my man's got receipts, and Squirrely Doc Brown is talking himself in circles and doesn't even realize the pot is boiling. But as Depp's lawyer stays strong in this next clip, you're gonna see the mad doctor start to jump around like his pants are on fire. And just when it's about to get too hot for him, the judge steps in, but not in the way you think.
Did you agree in your deposition that the professional opinions you rendered were inconsistent with the Goldwater rule?
Yeah, my first was inconsistent. If we're saying that if the Goldwater rule says, and I very much said that during the deposition, that the Goldwater rule was made for presidents and public figures such as that. But regardless of that, because that's what it was made for, it's not made for Hollywood. But I'll even take that Mr. Depp's a public figure. What I'm saying to you is that the Goldwater rule is saying we cannot do any expert witness testimony in our field. That is exactly what the Goldwater rule is saying based on exactly what you read. And I'm just telling you what you are saying that rule encompasses.
What I'm asking you, sir, is did you comply with the ethical requirements of the APA when rendering the professional opinions that you've rendered today?
It is a requirement of the APA. It is not the requirement of the APA. Secondarily,
so the answer is no.
Secondarily, again, in order to not, we wasted our whole morning because there was an expert witness before me. There's an expert witnesses everyone brought in. So all I'm saying to you, that means the whole field of medical legal law is corrupt and unethical for engaging in an act that the APA clearly says we should not do. So if you're saying that, then the answer is yes, I'm agreeing with that statement.
What you just testified to, because I didn't ask you anything about that. I asked you whether, under this rubric, under this principle of medical ethics, have you acted unethically? Yes or no?
No. As an expert witness, I have not acted unethically. And if you want the jury to believe that expert witnesses are unethical, then I guess that's for them to decide.
Yes or
that's
no,
for them
sir.
to
You
decide.
said no. Let's go to the next question. Let's start with the easy question then. Maybe we can...
That was pretty easy. Go
All
ahead.
right, Doctor, you're going to have to just answer the questions.
Okay,
完全知
sorry
道律
about that.
師想做啲乜嘢。
Getting into
佢
it.
想引導你
You
答
need to
你
just
問
answer
問
the。questions,
Okay.
Doctor.
唔係佢係純粹佢其實都
You are not
律師冇諗住
rendering
睇佢
any
口供聽佢
diagnosis
純粹係
whatsoever of
覺得
Mr.
呢個人
質
Depp
疑呢條友。
質疑
today
呢個嘢
or
究竟
ever.
係咪 ethical， 做嘅嘢係咪 ethical？
Finally, the squirrely doctor is left motionless and speechless. Now, where most lawyers would have let up a bit, Johnny Depp's lawyer is looking to nail this guy hard. And he presses on with one final blow, which knocks the doctor on his ass.
Are you a member of the American Medical Association?
No.
Okay, so you don't know what the ethical rule of the American Medical Association is relative to doing clinical diagnoses about individuals you've never talked to.
So you're saying in terms of doing expert witness evaluations under that rubric, right?
I'm just asking you, do you know the AMA's rule?
You're saying the AMA's ruling under the rubric of not doing value with somebody you did not see, and I'm questioning, I'm asking, so you are talking about expert witness testimony?
No, I'm talking about, do you know the rule?
I'm not a member of the AMA, so I don't,
Okay,
I don't
great.
read the rubric.
We
Okay.
can move on. You don't know the rule.
Even the courtroom chimed in on that one. So after this, you might think, well, Doc Brown is knocked back to his original timeline and everything is all well in the multiverse, right? Nah, because what you're about to see in the next episode plays out better than any legal drama on Netflix, son. And I think afterwards, the mad doctor might need to find his own psychiatrist to talk to. So stick around for that, and I'll see you on the flip
幾
side.
狡猾喎，呢個
Peace.
喎都幾勁下，其實揀啲問題咯，你答到又得，答唔到又得咁樣。你唔講咩？不過你覺得頭先個專家，你覺得佢有幾多可信性？你聽完之後，你覺得？
冇，唔係絕對可信咯，
即係
會有少質疑佢咯。
即係基本上嘅事實就係佢冇直接出講嘅嘢啦，一啦，佢冇直接同阿 Johnny Depp 直接嗰啲叫咩啊？
拗撬過咁樣。
唔係拗撬嗰啲叫咩啊？直接診斷啊！
咪即係好似你
當
問
面診斷，
即係問多幾個醫生意見咁樣樣咯，但係個醫生又冇當面診斷過你咯。即係其實佢拗嘅好明確嘅啫，就係問如果一條友我冇當面診斷過，你可唔可以為你嘅病入咗判斷咁樣？係咯。 啲又啱喎。如果你否定咗呢樣嘢嘅話咧，咁你所有嘅專家證明都唔成立㗎，因為你專家證人未必同每一個人都做過判斷㗎嘛。
全新 Point Dollar 登場，無論係食買玩，通
睇下
通都可以
其實
用 The Point 積分當
專家
錢使。
證即係專家證詞，其實都有分好多種。
大家好，我是傻頭。
即係譬如咁，我請個專家證詞，我係想理清，即係我可以請個專家上去法庭度，我想問翻佢，叫佢當場俾一啲定義，即係我會喺個法庭度可能用幾個 terms， 用幾個學術詞語，叫佢哋俾定義都得㗎。呢啲都係一啲專家證據，咁我就冇包含到直接，
即係冇包含判斷，你淨係為嗰一個醫學上面嘅詞語做個定義啫。係啊，
做個定義啊，同埋即係唔係直接問嗰個專家究竟
即係冇個人嘅診斷
Johnny Depp 係咪有咁嘅問題咁樣就。呢種路線就會
Welcome back to the conclusion of 奇怪 Doctor in the multiverse of Chill Deal. Once again, I want to thank you guys for all of your donations, your shares, your likes, your subscribes. You guys are helping us to become the fastest growing channel in Taiwan right now, son. Inconceivable! And trust me, we got something special cooking to round off the end of this series whenever the trial is over. So, even though in the previous episode, Doctor Strange got his ass whipped, in this one, he still continues to put up a fight. But unfortunately, Johnny Depp's lawyer is on a roll. Knocking his face in the dirt was not enough. In this episode, he's gonna rub his face all in it and send him crying home to his mama.
咁所以佢會再對佢老婆施暴嘅可能性就會提高啦。
So in this first clip, it appears that the Mad Doctor has been engaging in name-calling of Johnny Depp.
During your deposition, what were the circumstances under which you decided to call Mr. Depp an idiot?
Under somebody call Mr. Depp an idiot?
Yeah, you called Mr. Depp an idiot in your deposition. Why?
Okay. So I think it was in the context. I think it was in the. You probably should read the context of it, because I think the context was, and I'm trying to think back. Okay? And what I thought it was related to was if you're coming to some deposition, okay? And again, I'm thinking back, so you have it in front of you. I don't. So I'm thinking back where he's coming in from Europe for a deposition, video deposition that he gave, and he took it overnight the night before. And what I think I said was that if you're going to do a major thing toward a trial that you're involved with, I think you'd be an idiot to come in the night before. All right. So I didn't call Mr. Depp an idiot. I certainly called that planning an idiot. I didn't call him an idiot.
So the words, so I mean he's an idiot, are mistranscribed?
No, I'm sure, again, if I said it in that, if you're just reading one line, one snippet, I'm sure it was in the context I just said. But again, you have it in front of you, I don't.
Yeah. Is idiot a professional opinion?
I wasn't rendering a professional opinion.
Yeah.
No.
Is it a psychiatric opinion?
And that follows the Goldwater rule.
How does it follow the?
I just said that I'm not rendering a professional opinion. I just said idiot. That's not a.
No, so idiot is not a professional opinion. Mm-hmm. Is it your practice to describe people as idiots?
My practice describes in my practice. No, I don't describe people my clinical cases as idiots or patients as idiots or victims as idiots. No, sir.
But you sat for a deposition in this case and described the plaintiff as an idiot, correct?
You gave me 9 hours of deposition, and if I said the word idiot, it was an idiot in planning. It wasn't making him an idiot. I don't know Mr. Depp's IQ. I don't know his overall functioning. So therefore, if I said it, it was an idiot in planning, which is what I meant to come across as.
Right. So you did say you don't know his overall functioning, but you made some testimony today as to some evaluations you made relative to his functioning. You would agree with me that it's probably a good idea to think about the questions that are asked you in a court proceeding before answering.
Am I allowed to answer that question?
Yes.
Okay. So what I said by function, I believe that his agent reported how late he was showing up to every movie while the cast is waiting for him. I believe that would be an impairment. If I showed up late for that, I would not be here right now, would not have a job. Okay? I believe the thing was in terms of balking out of treatment for substance rehab that his doctor is prescribing for him. So if you're asking me if that's an impairment of functioning, I would say I'm very much substantiated in that.
我靠，这个 Doctor 应该跟 Amber Heard 一样同一种病耶，他们两个真的没办法负责任。但是卖缓了，等一下 Johnny Depp 的律师会让他说出来他应该很少讲的3个字 ，and then Johnny Depp's lawyer is going to do the legal equivalent of pulling the doctor's pants down in front of the entire courtroom.
係即係因為
You
中文媒體
pirates
傾向
to
都
the
係幫阿 Johnny Depp。
to the depositions given in this case.
Then I apologize for what I said.
冇乜所謂
Then
嘅，
I
我覺得製作人有自己嘅
You
意見
misspoke.
係一
You
個非常
didn't make the comparison.
即係我都唔可以
Right now, just a second ago? Just a second ago, I may have said that I misspoke. I apologize, I misspoke.
Okay. Because you know you can't compare pirates to sworn testimony, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can, but as an aside, you can judge someone's processing speed at any time. Like I'm judging yours right now, you're judging mine. We all judge processing speed as a baseline because of what we know about each other. I would say your processing speed right now is not slow. So, I mean, we're judging processing speed. I'm just saying to you.
Yeah. But no, any of Mr. Depp's other portrayals in movies, did that affect your analysis of processing speed?
Only I've seen him interact on interviews, and that was it.
Right.
When he wasn't in movies.
What, right. But Willy Wonka doesn't matter to you?
really wrong.
You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
即係佢係嗰個朱粒獎門人。
係啊，勁啊 Johnny Depp。
Is that, do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
我淨係記得佢做咗隔離俾
You
我。
have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka I didn't see 21 Jump Street when it happened or whatever it was about. No, I did not.
Oh my god, with all his degrees and associations and fellowships, this guy doesn't seem to know jack shit about anything. And he's about to make it worse for himself because Depp's lawyer is about to pull out a receipt that not only makes the mad doctor look ignorant, but also reveal him to be possibly the most incompetent doctor we've ever seen on YouTube.
You talked about the fact that
所以
Mr.
話
Depp
我意見係律師嗰
indicates
邊
that
嘅
from
頭
time
頭
to
啊，
time he uses an earpiece.
真係好勁。
I mean, I read that,
我
yes.
話俾你
Did you read the testimony of
如果係
Mr.
我
Wyatt
我
who told you
咁
what
係咪我講嘅入嗰套
plugged
電
into
影咧？
that
我律師都有
earpiece?
睇過。
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, I mean, I think it was lines, right?
No, it was music.
It was music, not his line?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Mr. Depp was listening to music rather than being fed his lines, does that change your opinion as to his cognitive function?
If he was never fed his lines through the earpiece, which I know he was, but read he was, and that may have been that example, Mr. Wyatt may have said that it was music. I guess the question is, were you having the music during the actual talking of your lines? Is that what you're saying to me?
Well, you know, if you can do two things at once, that's a pretty high cognitive function, isn't it, sir?
You know, it's a very good point, actually. Divided attention is something humans have a lot of trouble in. So, for instance, we have trouble driving and putting on using our cell phones and direct. So, divided attention, humans actually are not very good at. I'll put that out there.
But Mr.
In general, not just Mr. Depp, in general.
But Mr. Depp is pretty good at acting. You acknowledged that early on.
Absolutely. Well, better than me, so I know that.
Because you don't act. In fact, you don't know about acting.
You're right. I have no idea about acting.
And you don't know how prevalent the use of earpieces are in acting.
Again, I know nothing about acting.
Irrespective of the fact you know nothing about acting, you've testified that Mr. Depp's use of an earpiece is somehow a cognitive deficit?
So if I was giving a lecture and I was fed my lines, I would think there's a cognitive deficit. So and maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe Hollywood stars get lines fed to them through earpieces all the time, and I don't know. That could be said. It sounded to me to be unusual if you're doing a movie and you don't know the lines. But like you said, I'm just judging it on what I do with lectures, and that would never happen.
You know, if you gave lectures, you wouldn't use an earpiece, but you're not going to tell anybody how to act.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I said if you gave lectures, you wouldn't use an earpiece, but you're not telling anybody how to act.
Right, I would not use an earpiece during lectures.
Right.
But I don't know what the standard for standard as Hollywood is for that. I have no idea.
即係佢嘅證期有啲缺陷。
Your testimony about the use of
其實係啊，
earpiece.
就有啲律師就希望我打到你證書有
Maybe you were wrong.
但係其實
You're comfortable
佢兜嘅
with
方
the
法
fact
係
that you may have made a
但
mistake.
係
我覺得呢個醫生唔
陪審
No, because I think in the basis of what I've read about it, I'm comfortable that I don't believe that actors are routinely given their
即係佢
entire
唔係
script
直接答你 yes
through
or no，
earpieces.
佢
I
話
find that hard to
知
believe.
道個 standard。
Yeah,
But-
but not one whit of evidence that this ever happened.
I guess what I said. I just said I find it hard to believe. I didn't say it. I said I find it hard to believe. That's all I said.
Oh, yeah, but what you found hard to believe, sir,
我
was
嘅
that
專業
every
判斷，每一
line
個
of
字
the
都經過
script
仔
was
細嘅
pumped through an earpiece. Where did you ever get the idea that that occurred?
That's what That's what I read, and the court review, the court evidence. That's where I got it from.
And you know whether Marlon Brando used an earpiece?
Isn't he dead?
Yeah.
So the answer is no. He does not use one now.
No, I used the past tense. Sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know nothing. I will concede to you, I know nothing about acting. I will concede to you 100%. If that is the standard and people are done that's acting, then I apologize and that was wrong on my part. If that's the standard, I'm wrong. I don't know.
Let's go with that. No further questions.
All right.
Congratulations, 奇怪 Doctor, because on 好机车频道, you have now been upgraded to 奇怪北兰博士.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb.
For real though, my man's got issues. He might need to talk to somebody. Alright, so that's the end of day 1 for the final showdown. Day 2 is streaming live as we speak, and you can be sure we'll be back tomorrow with more madness, more drama, and more blood. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, and see you on the flip side. Peace!
我都希望可以同你吹到凌晨3點，我冇所謂啊，但係聽日翻工啫喎。差唔多啦，
俾我飲埋啦。
係，我係巴人車志健。
4分之
呢個廣告會話俾你聽，究竟點樣可以喺個網上邊
喂即係
係揾到嘅方法嚟嘅。但係呢個廣告，我相信同你平時所
對面嘅律師用咗一個策略，就係一個 A 策略，係話用佢之前發生嘅話俾同事俾你聽，就係可能佢受以前嘅事情影響到佢今日會做呢啲嘢，跟住辯方可以出個專家就話。佢呢個 elevation 係有缺陷嘅，點解啊？因為你唔可以直接攞一個 conclusion，佢以前遇過啲問題，就令到佢一定會將來
重複犯錯，
重複犯呢啲錯誤。只係呢個係一個其中，即係你要判斷究竟佢有冇受到影響。呢個係一個好專業嘅問題，有一定嘅程序去判斷究竟佢會唔有一定，即係學界上有一定嘅方法去判斷佢，但係你就唔可以直接落呢個 conclusion。呢啲就係即係針對對方個
問題嚟回答咯。
即係呢個係針對即係就唔係直接話專家判斷啦，就係話專家嘅方法係咁樣，你哋唔係行專家嘅方法，所以你哋個 argument 得可以咁樣 argue，就係咁咯。專家證詞都係有用嘅，但係就唔係即係個咩高華德守則，究竟我破壞咗高華德守則，我係咪一定就冇咗專家證詞？呢個就係。我覺得係錯嘅。
下個禮拜我就會問啲學生高華德守則到底係咩嚟嘅？寫一屆請回答有圖嘅問題，高華德守則泛指。幾好。
高華德守則。跟住你個 keyword Johnny Depp vs The Emperor。
迪士尼高层作证，表示自己演艺生涯因强力逮捕而大受打击。在水行侠2中的戏份被删掉剩一点点，这就轮到强力逮捕传唤证人，直接请到 DC 影业总裁提供证词。
Did Ms. Heard's dispute with Johnny Depp have in Warner Brothers delay picking up Ms. Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
There was none from our end. It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? You know, I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there, and would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way.
Other than the creative concerns and concerns about chemistry you testified about, was there any other reason Warner Brothers delayed in picking up Miss Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
No, it was all concerns about whether she was the right bit of casting for the movie.
Can you give me anything more specific about what it was with Amber Heard and Jason Momoa that was difficult for the chemistry?
No, because it's like what makes a movie star a movie star. Like you know it when you see it, and the chemistry wasn't there.
之前安伯赫德真人还说，安伯赫德本来可以像神力女超人盖尔加朵一样一炮而红，还拿杰森·摩莫亚、赞达亚等人出来比较。不过被强尼戴普请来的娱乐律師狠狠反驳
：“They are not comparable. Jason Momoa was Aquaman. Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman. Zendaya has been working on Disney Channel since she was 13. She's in all the Spider-Man movies. These are not comparables.
还有對於之前安伯赫德以把鼻子
我要點樣解釋俾你聽？點解我明星出名啫？冇得解釋嘅呢啲。
Grabbing my
即係
breast, he rips my underwear.
咁我唔通話俾你聽佢有咩特點嘅咩？即係
proceeds to do cavities.
佢哋講頭先，佢哋講緊一樣嘢係講緊女主角同埋男主角，即係佢
鬧交有冇影響到佢嘅氣氛？
唔係，佢哋講水行俠嗰個女主角，即係水行俠，佢哋講 audition 啊，點解
At any time during Mr. Depp
即係
and Miss Heard's stay on the
宣
property,
佈
did you see
係
Mr.
邊個做
Depp
咁樣？係咪有啲咩問題咁樣？跟住呢個 CEO 就話佢哋冇 chemistry 啊嘛。
係咯，由我決定嘅話，咁可以點啫？屌我
！I never saw Mr. Depp get physical with anyone when I saw him.
You are a pretty big fan of Johnny Depp, aren't you?
I am not. To be honest,
You wanted to participate in this trial, didn't you?
I did not. I was asked by the attorney. They asked me, and I said I'll be happy to come and tell the truth.
因為咧完咗呢單嘢之後，仲有第二個，仲有第二個 charge。
即係點啊？咩意思？
即係呢個係 Johnny Depp 告啊 Amber Heard 誹謗好難告咁，你知啊？即係可能其實佢哋一開始都冇諗住贏，不過純粹係諗住喺公眾形象上打擊呢個人啦。跟住依家 Amber Heard 之後仲有個 trial 就係 Amber Heard 告翻 Johnny Depp， 就話佢呢一段時間做嘅嘢影響咗佢事業咯，希望賠1億咯。
如果我本人咧，我係比較支持 Johnny 嗰邊。
嚇！
即係我覺得條女咧咁就鳩嘅。
即係依家呢場官司就係打緊Amber 誹謗 Johnny Depp， 然之後導致 Johnny Depp 因為呢個誹謗而蒙受接受損咯，蒙受損失咯，就要求賠5000萬。
喂，其實我覺得係㗎，即係 Johnny Depp 都。
但係問題喺法庭上。誹謗係一樣好難告嘅嘢啊嘛，
因為你要證明到，即係呢條真正影響到你啊嘛。
唔係真正影響到你啊！誹謗個告法係要話呢個人係知道自己做緊啲乜嘢，佢知道嘅事實唔係咁，但係佢做咗啲即係做咗，佢係故意做呢啲嘢去損毀你嘅聲譽啊！所以要好難證明咯，因為要證明佢係故意咯。即係佢哋而家玩法就係，如果證明到，即係其實如果證明到家暴呢樣嘢完全唔存在，就擺明係誹謗啦。但係證明到，所以就即係幾種玩，即係幾種啦。你又要證明到家暴，即係證明唔到即係如果證明唔到佢唔係誹謗，你都要證明到佢係咪令到你事業蒙受損失啊？
大佬3個幾個鐘咋？
好似今日定聽日就有結果咯喎，係咩？係啊，可能而家雙一就已經有結果啦。 7個人喎。查下先。好似結案咯喎，已經。查下先。
熄個直播啫。